Welcome back. I have made the executive decision that the 92 B230FT out of Scotia is now going into the wagon, just for the sole reason that that car needs a motor and likely a transmission. I have a 95 AW71 and a B230FT that I know are in working condition. So those are going to go in that car, and this car is going to likely get built a different motor, because the plan all along was to just throw the motor and trans back in here and pull it back out next year to build the rods, pistons, ported this, that, and the other, whatever. Just make it a fast, fun car that's reliable. And I don't feel like it's a good idea to just throw this back in if it's going to come right back out. I might as well get another motor like the squirter block that I have over here. So this motor could be built. Obviously it needs a lot of stuff, but it's a good starting point. And I really want a daily driver, and I don't want it to be this car. So I'm going to put the skate on the car because the wheel's still locked up on the driver rear. And I'm going to push it back, get Scotia moved next to the Infinity. I had to take off the power steering and AC and hook it up, just because if I go to turn, I don't want it to leak out the rack. So that's going to stay right there. And I've got a car cover that I forgot that was in the trunk of this car the whole time. So I'll probably wash it, throw the cover on, and just park it right there. And then we'll get the wagon moved in here. And I'm going to start pulling the motor out of that today. Hopefully I'll have it out by today, and I can finish assembling this motor. This motor should be done today. I have everything to do it. Just need the oil pan, head gasket, head, turbo, pull the accessories off of this motor, put them on there. I still have to buy all new stuff for this car, like motor mounts, heater hoses, radiator hoses. This is an LH 2.4 car, so I'm going to be buying new temp sensors and shit like that, NOx sensor, because this was running LH 2.2. But other than that, this should be done, I don't know, 2-3 weeks from now, because I still got to buy all the shit and wait for it to come. That being said, let me get back to work, and we'll pick this up when the wagon is in the garage. Hey buddy, you're featured on the YouTube channel. Cool. Awesome. Okay, starting to pull some shit off. Got the intercooler stuff out. Got my cousin here so we can move the cars, and he started wrenching, so that's nice. About to get the alternator and AC off because I don't want to disrupt the AC refrigerant, so I'm going to leave the compressor in the car so I don't have to disconnect the lines and just pull the motor out from around it. And then we can hopefully get everything out today. How you liking it, Quentin?
It's great.
Yeah, it is. It's lovely. Only been at this for what, 5-10 minutes?
Yeah.
Something like that. Everything's coming off pretty much easy so far. I haven't had any issues. I've had to cut some lines like this. And inside the water pump, there was no coolant that came out. It's just your grandma's ashes, No big deal. Our grandma's ashes. Nothing came out of the transmission. Well, not a lot, at least. So I haven't had to drain anything so far. It's been nice and dry. The only thing that sprayed out was fuel from the fuel rail. Let's keep cracking at it. Yee-yee! Well, we're making some progress. I got the power steering pump off of the other engine and the motor mounts as well. Swapped those over. I've given everything a nice wire wheel. This was all rusted. Wire wheeled it, gave it a nice fresh coat, black paint. Wire wheeled all my bolts and the brackets because this was all rusted. So I got all the rust off all the bolts just so everything goes together nicely and the rust won't bind up and make something like a bolt snap in half or something. But I just took the oil cooler off. Had to pull the port out of the block, and something I noticed when I pulled the motor mount off This motor is an 88 B230 FT, not a 92 like the car is. So that is a sign that this motor has been swapped before. So this will now be this car's third motor, and this will now be the fourth car that this 92 motor is going into. So now I have to get all this wire wheeled and cleaned up. Same with this. Get this guy all cleaned up, ready to go. Order some new seals and stuff for it. Take the thermostat off and, you know, actually replace those as well, just so all the bases are covered. Oops. I have not yet taken the oil pan off, obviously, because there's an oil pan on the motor. Oh, wow. That's like wow. Inside of here is just like shut. Oh, wow. There we go, now we're through. That is crazy. Plugged up with gunk. Now it's all coming out. We've made quite the mess. That's what we do for fun around here. Okay, let's get this crap cleaned up. Well, there's the previous owner of this wagon leaving. He stopped by so I could... My Alexa's doing stuff. He stopped by so I could aim his headlights for him and so he could take a look at the damage, because we just pulled the oil pan off. It's quite severe, I will say that. If you can see the oil pickup tube. So let me cut this, turn the flash on. All right, are y'all ready for this? Are you ready? I don't think you're ready. Okay, so motor facing this way, correct? This would be the back of the pan and the front of the pan, piston 1. If you look where piston 1 was, you see metal, and a lot of it. Focus. All right, there we go. A lot of metal. Look on the oil pickup tube. A lot of metal. If we spin the motor around, so we can get a better look, we can see something is immediately amiss on cylinder 1. That might be the issue. That's just ready to come off. Come on. Don't be shy just because we're recording now. The other one, yep, that one will come off too, I believe. Nah. Might be a two-handed job. Where's my rag? I want to see my rag. If you get up in there, there's no bearing left on that. And so this is what we heard when we started the engine. Cylinder 4 is fine. You got a little bit of play. There's nothing wrong with that. Can I screw you back in so I can roll the motor over? Well, you know what? Why don't we just tighten this back up and start the motor back up? Maybe that'll fix our issue. Throw a new bearing in and send it, as they say. Yeah, that's not too bad. We'll send that. Spin it over. Oh, wow, it doesn't even want to spin over now. I set you down. Okay, we're back. Keep it going. There we go. Cylinder 2. A little bit more play. Cylinder 3. A little bit more play. But yeah, how hard is that? Of course, hard as a rock. That's original. Yep. I'm curious to how bad it scored the crankshaft, because I'm almost willing to bet you throw a new bearing in there, well, a brand new set of bearings across all 4 pistons, that she would run just fine until, you know, it doesn't. But yeah, oh wow, oh wow. What do we have in here? Major shreddage. Nice. Well, that is the oil pan. Now I've ran into a dilemma. The oil cooler that I was talking about is not going to fit. Well, at the moment it's not going to fit because the drain block, or block of drain, I always say that backwards. That is the block drain from that motor, and the way that that works is, if I could find the shit that I keep setting down for some reason. I don't know where it went. You over here? You're not over here. Where you at? Where'd you come from? Where'd you go? Oh, right here. So this guy is supposed to sit right there. And one hose from the oil filter extender thermostat guy, one hose goes into here, and the other goes on the end of here, and this screws into here. But the issue I'm having is the threads on the 92, because this is, well, actually this is a 84, I believe. It was from the original motor, where it just has the actual drain, or the block drain, where you unscrew this and it drains the block. This is what I had in here after I swapped the B23 into the two-door. The threads from this one and this one are different, so this one will only thread in about that much, and that's when it stops. So I'm going to have to find one of these that has this thread on the male end and this thread on the other male end. Well, the thread that's on there currently, so I can run the filter relocator, because running that on there, it'll clear everything. The lines go into the motor mount, but the filter will not go on there at all with the sandwich plate on there. So that's where we're at the moment. So I will have to find me some sort of block drain with the correct threads, and all is well. I still need to pull off the flex plate off of there and send this engine and transmission on its way. Other than that, get back to it. Well, this has taken longer than usual just because I've been waiting on parts, and as you can see, I finally got my last bit of parts in. It's about time, right? So what I've been waiting on is, number one, a new dipstick, because the tips are broken and I hate that. Finally got the transmission mount, the 2 drivers, well, I guess the 2 motor mounts, coolant hose, another, well, they're both radiator hoses, the coolant overflow hose, rear heater hose, another one, the heater bypass valve, or whatever you call it. Don't need that anymore. That is for something to show you here in a little bit. Motor mounts, those are for the 242 that I no longer need. Intake manifold, valve cover, some other seals and whatnot. Just some little stuff. So I pretty much just needed all this just to put the motor into the wagon, because I didn't have motor mounts that were good, and I wanted to put the motor in with good mounts. But everything else is pretty much complete. The head's been resurfaced. The whole kit's together. Only thing I really have to do is go install those motor and trans mounts, then pull the rest of the AC off of that, because I pushed the little port and nothing came out, so there's no Freon in this system. So I'm gonna pull the AC bracket off clean it up, and then bolt it up to the side of the block with the alternator on it, so I can just install it in one go. Install the hoses, take this one off because it's for the 242. I still need to get new stainless lines for the turbo because the coolant lines that I had rusted because I was using water for the longest time. That's what I get. And I still got to figure out the oil filter situation. That shouldn't be too difficult, but we'll figure it out eventually. What's new? Sold the Infinity. And I bought a V70R. It's an 04. Not much wrong with it, surprisingly. Paid $3,500 for this car. I hate the wheels on it. It's a very clean car. It's got an IPD exhaust. The guy just put brand new 4C front struts in it. The PCV was already done. So I still got to do the timing belt, water pump. Just to do it because I'm scared. But we've got the typical warning lights. Where's it at? Anti-skid service required. That's the only warning light. And it's got a 174,000 miles. Hear that IPD exhaust? Sounds great. Cold AC. The suspension chassis settings work. Never experienced that, and it's very crazy whenever you're going over a bumpy road in comfort and you just slap it in advance and it's just the stiffest thing you've ever felt. But this is a very clean car. I like it. It's a great daily driver so far. Far more comfortable than the Infinity was. A lot more tame to drive. It was a New York car, so it has some slight rust underneath, but I'm not very worried about it at all. It's nothing that I should be alarmed about. It rattles when the AC kicks on. Missing the tie-down bolt. But it's very clean. I usually don't like white blocks and I don't trust them, but being that this car is going for like anywhere between $7,000 to $13,000 and I saw this, I scooped it for $35,000. I was like, I might as well. What's the worst that could happen? Did a compression test. Revealed 130 to 140 across all 5 cylinders, so very healthy motor. And it's just very, very clean. I mean, it's been a very good car for the 4 days I've owned it. But I like it. So now I've got 2 wagons. And I've still got more parts for this car in the back of here that I have to get out. And the rust just keeps getting worse. But I'm going to finish cleaning this engine up, bolting some stuff to it, get those motor mounts bolted in, and hopefully I can have this motor installed in the car by today, if not tomorrow. Because tomorrow I don't feel like doing it. I'm doing a radio install on that car. That back door does not look like it's shut. It is not. I got to do a doubled-in radio install with a backup camera and the Apple CarPlay and all this, that, and the other. So that's going to be a whole day of itself running wires. I'm not going to film any of that. Nobody wants to see me install a radio. So I'll get started on this.